Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB School. I'm JT O'Sullivan. Today, what is the Dagger concept? One of my favorite concepts in football. We're going to do a deep dive, X's and O's, dive into it, show you it installed from 5 different NFL offenses, also show you how we run it at the high school level. I am really excited about this one. Think you're all going to really enjoy this. Let's dive into it. Welcome to the QB School. If you haven't already, please think about subscribing to the channel, hit the bell, get the notifications, let you know when we go live, when we put out new content. I really appreciate the support for the channel. In addition, please think about joining in, get the memberships, get the badges, the emojis, all the fun stuff for the live streams. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Let's dive into the concept. All right, so most of y'all have probably played Dagger on some level, probably from Madden right here. I know that's my go-to play whenever I play my son. So I think it's uncoverable. There are some ways, obviously, you can cover it. We'll talk about some of that. But I'm excited to dive into this thing, show you from a bunch of different NFL offenses how they all run the similar concept. So again, as you can start to see the theme for some of these concept videos come together, once you learn the core concept, the core principle, it really doesn't matter where you're playing football. You're probably playing some variation of this, and you'll see this offense, this play run just about every organization, high level of football, all the way down, all the way to Pop Warner. So it's a great concept to learn. One of my favorites. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. Let's get it started. All right, one of my absolute favorite plays. We're going to go with the first install from the Minnesota Vikings. This is the simplest way I could find it, and probably the way that I like to play it the most. And this is the Dagger concept right here. It's just a deep in. And the thing about it, it's not just a deep in. It's also got a clear running through it. So whatever the yardage is, and in the league, it varies from 20 to 18 to 15. But it's basically the concept in and of itself is a clear route, any sort of clear. Sometimes you see it as a post with some sort of deep in behind it. And then you have someone threatening the hook defender underneath, whether it's usually a shallow, a drive route. Oftentimes, if you run it at a 3x1, we'll see it on a little out. But the essence of this thing is clear route, high-low with the deep in. There it is right there. And all you're going to do is read this middle hook curl area in a zone. And really, it's it. It could be the linebacker. It could be a drop down safety. It could be the linebacker coming from here. It all depends on what's going on here. You're reading high to low. You want that deep in 1, and you want this shallow 2. But really, it's the same read. You're reading the same guy in zone coverage. You can see these lines here. This is usually for a zone indicator. So zone, you can stop, and man, you want to keep running. Again, oftentimes my favorite way to do it is with a comeback on the backside. You'll usually alert this thing one-on-one. Occasionally, you can alert this post, depending on how they teach it, how they run it. So it's really 2 pre-snap alerts. The comeback is for sure a pre-snap alert. If you like it, one-on-one matchup, everything's perfect. Take a shot with it. Otherwise, we're calling it to throw the dagger. So we want to come up and rip this thing. And usually, ends in the league are 2 yards inside the numbers. The numbers are 2 yards wide, so just flip them over right there, right there. That's where you throw it. It's almost impossible to stop. If for some reason this underneath the player gets depth, hook curl player gets depth, you come right underneath it. If for some reason they miraculously cover both of them, you get some sort of variation of a triangle read right there. So it's just 1 to 2 to 3 to the check down. You got all sorts of good alerts, alert. The other thing to pay attention to here, this is a big boy drop. 7-step drop from under center. From gun, you'll often do it out of 5. But that's the core concept. So the core concept of Dagger is clear route, deep in, some sort of shallow underneath coverage, whether it's the shallow coming from the other side in 2x2 or the 5-yard out from the 3x1. All different variations to get to it. This is just the cleanest, most simplest version that I like the best. So this is from the Lions. We used to call it Rocket Laser. Everything would be a 1-word tag. So this could just as easily have been Dagger, but dig is a deep in. And again, we'll see the same concept here. We're going to get a clear route. We're going to get that 20-yard in. 20-yard in. And so it's basically just 1 to 2 right there. And really this happens the same guy, same curl defender right here. You're able to come out, alert it if you like on the backside. Again, and then it just turns into that simple triangle read right there. Boop. that all quarterback coaches talk about, trying to get those triangles in zone coverage. Again, we see the different indicators for man and zone. Give a little juke move in this offense. That just means when you come across, stair step them a little bit, come across if it's man coverage. But again, we're dropping back, trying to throw this sucker 20 yards deep, 2 yards inside the numbers. Really nice, clean throw. Really difficult to cover this in. Now let's intermix a little high school football into this thing. Patrick Henry, Patriots. We're going to get the dagger up top to our X or L receiver. We're going to get the clear route right here from our slot receiver. So it's going to be clear route. We're going to come through at the in, 15 yards in high school. We're going to come across with the shallow here to our tight end, and then we're going to kind of come back to the field to our Z receiver. So this is dagger, the same exact play you'd run in the league. Come back and show it to you here from the high school. Pay attention for all the quarterback fans out there. This is excellent footwork at the top of your drop. No heel click, maybe a little wide, but that's pretty perfect from the quarterback, and that's a strike right on his face, 2 yards inside the numbers. Again, we'll watch it from the back end too a handful of times, but we see the shallow coming across. Read that curl defender. He doesn't get any depth. We know we got our wide receiver one-on-one running a deep end. Really tough to cover. From the back end here, we'll be able to see it. The dagger's going to be coming from our left. Here comes the tight end coming across Cam. Again, quarterback footwork-wise, people will know I'm not a huge fan of the left false step. But then the drop, the rest of it, dovetail. So just a little push to the right so that you're lined up to throw to the left. Perfect right there by Matt. Able to come out and throw a strike right up on his face. 2 yards inside the numbers. Slow this thing down. Right there, that's 2 yards inside the numbers. Perfect strike. We see the clear. We see the shallow coming across. I'd love to get the back out on a check down. Looks to me like he doesn't know who he's blocking. He needs to get out on that check down. But that's a perfect strike. Great execution of dagger. Watch it again here all the way through just to appreciate the execution here. 1, 2, 3. Tight hitch. Let it go. Timing. Anticipation. Really nice job. Good job on the clear by the slot receiver. Nice job on the comeback down at the bottom of the screen. But again, the footwork, the execution from the quarterback position, really high level right here. 1, 2, 3, tight hitch, let it go, stays low level, beautiful strike. SeatGeek, please help support the channel. Use the code DQBSchool. Get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. I appreciate the support. Next variation I want to talk about is it's still the dagger concept. We still have the clear route. We still have the deep in. This is from the Lions as well. Again, they're running theirs from 20, but we're getting there from a different way. So what I mean by that is now it's 21 personnel. We got a fullback in the game. We got a special different type of protection here. We're going to threaten that check down area by getting there a little bit different with the swing route. I'm pretty sure these are Adam Gaze's notes, but they might be Mike Martz's notes. This is definitely my note right here. It's a 7-step drop. But this is a little bit different of a clear route. Now it's almost turned into like a man beater. And so the way that we used to do this is that if it was, we didn't like throwing ins versus press coverage just because it really becomes 7 and 2 hitches. And it's really hard to do that from dropping back, do it consistently. So if it was man, we used to like to get these runaway posts. That's what you can see with these notes. Off man. We like the Z, press man on the X, we like the Z, both press, we like the Z. So different ways to get it inside to do these runaway to protect this in route. But if it's zone, we want this deep in with this shallow coming across. And it's the same play. It just gives you a little bit more options. It's not as cookie cutter of saying like, hey, it's just a clear, do not throw it. Now we've got options for certain looks, especially if the outside in is getting jammed and he can't get off the line of scrimmage right here. If he gets jammed or walled at all, it becomes a really hard throw 20 yards down the field off 7-step drop. So just another way to do it that gives you options versus different coverages, and those are my favorite type of concepts. Next, we go over to Cincinnati. Again, we've got the exact same concept here, core concept. And what I mean by that is clear with deep in. Whoop. 20 yards, right? There it is. 20 yards in with a clear. Now we can see the read here when I was in Cincinnati was based on rotation, and then too high we wanted the dagger side. So rotation meaning that if they come up and there are 2 safeties out here, let's say the free safety and the strong safety, and all of a sudden we get rotation this way, meaning the middle field player goes that way, we're going to work this side. If we got the opposite, meaning that the free safety, the strong safety came down to the dagger, free safety came down, then we'd want to work the 7 on the backside. But it's the core principle is the exact same. It is clear, in, something underneath. This time we come out and basically run like a little option or hook route here. But it'd be the same thing if it was 2x2, getting over there. It's the same guy. You're reading the same middle hook defender in any sort of zone coverage. He can't be right. We want the high first. It's just a high-low. There it is. They just get there by a different way. Be able to dress it up, different motions, different landmarks, all sorts of good stuff. Again, it gives you a good 2-man answers too. Most teams really like runaways, meaning like 7 routes or out routes versus 2-man, especially with these burst release. So again, just another way to add a wrinkle, but it's the same thing. I mean, this is basically a comeback over here. Comeback with dagger on the other side. So just another way to dress it up to do the exact same concept. Stay with the Bengals. Again, we got the exact same core concept of clear route, in route. There it is. Clear, in, high, low. This time we get there with a little 5-yard flat. But this is the dagger concept right here. And then how we manipulate the underneath defenders, we can do it a bunch of different ways. Again, on the backside, we got a comeback. We see the 2-man answer with this little circus 7 thing. Give you different answers, runaway answers. But again, this is the core concept. 5 steps from gun, let it go, timing, anticipation, big boy throw. But I always really love the in routes, really easy to throw, easy to see, easy to anticipate, especially when you know you had a clear. You don't ever really have to worry about a safety ever coming into this dagger play because they have to worry about this deep threat, especially if this guy's running on the clear. Running, threaten them, and then you come in right behind it, 20 yards. You know the landmark, the timing. As long as it's not bump out there, you know that you're going to be able to come up and rip that in route right on the location that they're supposed to be at when they're supposed to be there. Next, we go to the Packers. Different way to get to dagger. Again, good concept, different way to get there. This time we're going play action. Big play action fake and ISO, or what we call blast, weak ISO in Green Bay. Also love the switch release here. So somebody coming in motion. Everything is coming downhill hard. They're going to come out, switch release this thing. So now the outside guy has the clear or post, depending on what's going on in the middle of the field. But again, we come out and we're going to rip that deep in. I love it. You see the landmarks here? 2 yards plus the numbers. There it is. I didn't make it up. Come out there, get it, threaten him down the field, and then snap it in. Really simple read. All it is 1 to 2. Again, you can see the way that they classified it as alerts versus safeties, different safety rotations over the middle of the field. Middle field open, we're going to bend it. But again, we're coming out, and it's clear, dagger, something underneath. There it is. Doesn't matter how you get there, how you manipulate it, drop back, play action. It's the same core concept. Clear, deep in, something coming from underneath. This time it's a check down. Love it. Really simple, really cool way, especially with the switch release. I'm a big fan of the switch release because it causes all sorts of disorientation by the DBs. They just don't see it very often. So nice way to get able to throw it. Again, dagger, just simple completion off a big play action fake. Then finally, the last one, we go to New Orleans here, a different version of dagger. They didn't run straight up dagger, but they did run a variation of it. This is just dagger from the inside, from the 3 and the 2. So far, almost all of them have been the outside wide receiver running the dagger or the deep in with the number 2 running the clear. This time we just bump it in, right? So now the 3 has the clear, the 2 has the dagger. So it bumps everything in. So now it's not necessarily out by the numbers. It's a different ball location. So instead of having an out, what we normally have is an out or a shallow coming from the other side. We have this little in follows it. So it's still, you get to its core principles. What is it? It's a clear with a high-low with an in. There's the high-low. There's the clear. There's the high, the deep dagger route, and here's the low underneath. Just a different way to get there. The reason we called it Tampa 2 was because it was a Tampa 2 beater. This is supposed to really threaten the Mike linebacker in Tampa 2. Both these guys widen, get wide. The Mike linebacker basically is the middle field player. He's going to run with that number 3 clear, and we're going to wrap this in dagger right off his ear. So Mike runs with that clear route right here, And we got the in route coming right underneath him for a big third down. We used to run this a bunch on 3rd and long situations when we know we would get Tampa 2 back in the day. So just another way to do it. I love the variations, but at the end of the day, once you learn the concept, you can play it versus any different variation, versus different coverages to really take advantage of what the defense is doing. That's it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you think of these concept videos in the comments below. I appreciate it, and see you next time.